Hi, Eugenia, how are you?
Hi, Xavier. Hello from Barcelona.
Hi from
Nice
Lausanne.
seeing you. I
It's
don't know
great.
if you can tell the same about me, but nice seeing
It's great seeing you. I know we have special effects for you, of course. It couldn't be otherwise. And we are obviously talking about the video that we just saw, the magic of light that you created during this pandemic in Barcelona, in your
you.
house, in the middle of the city. And so we're going to have this short conversation about this work of art and more broadly your views on art and this period as well as building
Mhm.
resilience.
Yeah.
So the first question that I wanted to ask you is that as we saw in the capsule, you speak about the need to create together a new world based on
Yeah.
the value of cooperation rather than competition.
Uh-huh.
This, in the language of game theory, which is a theory that we use in
Yes.
management and
Yes.
economics, is known as positive sum games, what people know colloquially as win-win,
Yeah.
rather than zero or negative sum games. How do you think we can get that? How do you think we can create these win-win games? What do we need? Different political processes and
Well, what I think is that the first thing that we have to address is that we have to change ourselves in order to be able to change anything, and that requires really a big leap, no, a big. We have to be very brave, and I think art will play a role in that because art really trains us for for the unknown, for being creative, for being, daring to not control, for being fluid, and all of these are qualities that are going to be essential,
Mhm.
completely essential. And so I have been really working a lot in my own personal journey with understanding the reality around us so that in a deep and emotional way,
Mhm.
uh, so that we can work with it in this kind of multi-layered concept of reality, which is what we will have to address. Also, the fact that I think this new territory has to do, I use the word territory, but what I want to say that it's not so much about territories, but about bridges, about connections, about the interconnectedness between you and I, between all of us. And we are used to defend territories. That comes, from our reptilian brain,
Mhm.
ancient. We defend our territory.
Mhm.
And I think that has to change. We have to be responsible and free and strong enough to be able to uh, cooperate, to think that I like very much your choice of the win-win situation, that that 1 + 1 is at least 11, certainly not 2.
Mhm.
And if you and I really work together, it sparks up. It
Mhm.
really multiplies the chances, the possibilities. Everything becomes magical
Mhm.
because I think that the we have to re-enchant the world. The fact of what we have done now, it's uh, looked at the work as the world as matter mostly, and the market, giving the free market so much power. And what that has done is that slowly it has taken the soul, the spirit, the magic out of the world. And we are in a place that it's, hard and not our souls are not comfortable there, our
Mhm.
spirits, we need to we need to dream again,
Mhm.
because if and artists are good, are at teaching and are at dreaming.
Mm-hmm.
If we don't dream this new reality, how can it happen? We have to dream first the garden in order to plant it. It's the old idea of utopia that was almost like cast in stone, this utopia, and it has this, like the communists, for instance. It's very good ideas, but all rigid, clack, clack, clack in stone. I think that now we have to think of utopia as a laboratory, as a constant, permanent testing and experiencing and trying, and certainly a time for collaborations.
That sounds actually much like the scientific process, constantly experimenting, testing, questioning past truths.
Yes, that's why I really like that you mentioned that, because I've worked a lot in collaboration with scientists and in the interface between art and science. But I think we have to really go to the interface between art and literature, art and economy. I would like to do sometimes some work in collaboration, with economists. And I was very happy last year to talk in the university, in the Faculty of Economics, art and philosophy, art and anthropology, and all of them use art as a meeting place for all these other disciplines, and like that we can achieve this richness, this fullness that we need now. We cannot go alone anymore. Each discipline separate. I think we have to live a new renaissance, but really quick, because it's electronic. It's not like in the time of Leonardo. They were traveling by horse. Everything was very slow. I don't know how long it took for him to go to Paris from Italy. The journey now, it's like this, like this.
Right. So, as you know, the topic of today's session in the summer school is resilient futures for cities. And the video capsule that we just saw is, I think, a proof that you continued to create during the most difficult period of strict governmentally imposed confinement or lockdown in Spain as a whole, and in Barcelona in particular. Barcelona being one of the most affected cities in Spain and probably in the world. Can you please tell us about your feelings, your thoughts, the actions and reactions during this period? How did the pandemic in Barcelona and elsewhere affected your already ongoing creative projects? And how did you come to different?
Well, it was a reclusion. I mean, we had to, like in the old times, you would go to the top of a mountain or go to a desert. And now the irony is that we all went to our desert or to our top of the mountain by ourselves. And yet we were together in a city, millions of people, and everybody alone. But I think that it was an amazing exercise. First of all, because we felt more fragile than ever. And then we felt more connected than ever. That was, to me, the most amazing, paradox, that in a time of isolation, we were feeling so connected. And why? A lot because of these tools that we have, of all this new connectedness that it's electronic, thanks to the quantum field. And so that made me do several things. First, explore the environment around me with a toy, with a kaleidoscope that I added to my camera, and I started exploring the space around me, and these images that we have here the result of this. And also thinking about my last project, for instance, which is called Legacy, and it's about culture and language and books. And it's a work that I've done for several years has not been shown yet. And in a way, I was thinking, wow, does it make sense now or not? And I thought yes, which was very reassuring for me. Also, the big project of for our foundation, you know, with Lali, we had some conversations because we are dreaming of having a creativity center in nature near Girona, here in Spain, but connected to the world. Not just a little, no, connected. And this was an incredible test because we really can do it. We can be in nature and be connected with the world, also allowing us to do a two-sided journey. One is to be connected with the earth again, remembering all that the Aborigines know everywhere and the American Indians knew, which is a real connection with the earth, but not as a set of ecological rules. No, 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 no. To know that that we are the earth, that the earth is inside me, I am the earth is me, and we are a body. We are. You know, Gaia is us. It's all the creatures. We are connected through Gaia. I'm connected with the trees, with every leaf, with every animal, and I'm taking care of it the way I take care of myself, and not as a rule that I have to do some new set of more things to do. No, it will stem from respect, from love, from connection. You know, we have to walk barefoot again, because we are electric systems. Our nervous system, you know, with the inputs and outputs of the connections, are electric. And now we're going to have the 5G and all of that. So our solution, our way, we will have to walk barefoot, touching, not with the shoes with plastic, no, touching the ground, touching the grass, touching the sand, and be connected with the earth, so that all the energy, electric energy that we don't need, will go back to the planet. We fulfill the circle. So that's the kind of things that we're going to have to understand and be very wise. I mean, and we have to do this fast. So we have a big challenge in front of us, and also we have to dialogue between young people, old people, all the ages. We have also stratified our society by age. I think it's an enormous mistake, because people that are my age, I am now 76 years old. So according to our society, that's out. I'm out. But it has taken me all these years to learn every little bit of knowledge that I have. And it's precious. It's like, that's why for the Aborigines, for the American Indians, the old elders of the tribe were essential, because they had the memory, they had the legacy. They will give the legacy to the young ones, and then they will run from the shoulders, not having to invent everything, but from the shoulders of the previous one into their lives.
Absolutely.
And into the future.
It
and all of this, we have to really begin to honor it. Honor it. And I use the word the same way that I did homage to the elements, no, in my work. Honor it, give it homage, and from that place, then we can find really amazing. I believe a lot in human creativity, that we can really find amazing solutions for.
Right.
I really believe that, and they will come playing. They will come people that, you know, in incredible situations. They will start. If we are open. I mean, that's why art is so essential, because in order to be an artist, you have to keep your inner child alive, or it's no other way. I mean, yeah, right. There are artists that don't do that, but art, that the way I understand it, of course, it comes from that place of discovery, of discovery, of this this enormous wish to understand, to find.
Right. Again,
And
that's
every human has that.
yeah,
Scientists use that, you use that
exactly.
in your life and in music. And
Curiosity, yes. I was going to say that it
I don't know
reminds.
if I'm answering you, but I'm trying.
Right. No, I was going to say that it reminds me your point about the stratification, the age stratification, and this cult of youth in our society, in our culture, is something that I'm trying to deal with by bringing retired managers to my classes and recording them, and showing even people of 80 years old to
And
share their
dialoguing, no?
exactly their experience at different points in time and how we might learn from that. So we're moving now to the third and last question of our short interview or conversation here. Obviously we could spend much more time discussing, but the last question is the following. In the last 25 years or so, driven in part by the influential work of Richard Florida and others, there has been a lot of emphasis on the need to concentrate talent, knowledge in cities, and we call them creative cities, in order to maintain the international competitiveness of states, of cities, of countries, and how these creative industries and the personnel associated with them, performing artists, designers, scientific researchers, are a fundamental magnet for other kinds of talent. So what do you think about this view or model of city development or city
Well,
folk?
yeah, it has been the model up to now, or there's all these last years, but I question it. First of all, because cities have grown immense. I mean, I've been in DF. To go from one side to DF to the other, you practically have to take a journey, say goodbye, and maybe next day you are on the other side of the city. That it's not operable anymore. Or Mumbai in India, or, the size of 14 million people, is that a city? Or a city is some place like Barcelona with 2 million? First of all, that is a question, the question of size.
Mm-hmm.
And then I think that, well, I've thought about it also in my work, because I've done a lot of works like From the Center, which was in the city of New York, or Exposure Time, done in the city of Barcelona, questioning, looking at a city like a stage almost,
Mm-hmm.
a changing stage. But the question of talent is one thing, but also the question of health, the question of energy. In other words, Rifkin was talking about each building being like a cell of an organism and having to create its own energy, to generate its own energy. So a city that generates, because a city is a dissipative structure, in other words, it needs enormous amounts of energy to run. No? So this energy has to be created by the city then. And then how to do that? Then having each building, I think we should now invest enormous amounts of money to give work to people to rethink not only the new cities, but our existing cities, so that we create a whole system of new energy, with solar and with wind, etc.
Mm-hmm.
And also rethink the concept of cement, las plazas duras, the idea that all the squares have to be full cement. It's contrary to what I'm telling you, that we have to touch it in order to be healthy, because we are organisms. We cannot forget that. Even if our mind keeps growing, no, we are organisms, and we need to think of that. And not only think of preventive medicine like hospitals and all that. I not only think of hospitals, but also think of how we keep our health, how we prevent. Like, no one has been talking about our immune system. How many covers of magazines or newspapers or television is talking about? We have to reinforce our immune system, because no matter how many viruses and how many, we live with zillions of bacteria and things inside and out. So we have to rethink all of that, because then the resources will go the right way. I'm worried that we will repeat the same. We have to think new. And I've been trying to do that all along with my work, because if looking at things, you know, upside down and in different ways and fluid and moving. I like very much the article you sent me about the concept, Sola Morales, of fluid cities. This is fluid. This is fluid.
Great. It's been really nice conversation. I think we went way over the 5 minutes that we were supposed to talk. But
more than 5 minutes?
Oh yes, much more than 5 minutes. But I want to thank you for you know, your engagement and your messages. So I hope that to see you in very short time. So thank you. Gracias, Eugenia.
Gracias.